Welcome to Rewatch. We are on Tartakovsky's Clone Wars series. And folks, I know people are going to hate this, but I can only divide this up between volumes 1 and volumes 2. Remember, volume 1 had like 20 episodes, and it lasted for a little bit over an hour because each one of these episodes were like 3 to 4 minutes long. And I thought, well, maybe I can review them one at a time, but that would be a very short video. Well, maybe just review a group at a time. No, I'll just make one long video about volume 1 and then a second one about volume 2. That's what I'm going to do. I'm sorry, you can hate me for it, but that's fine. Remember, longer video though. I think all these events happen within the same days or a couple of days because they're invading the banking clan, which are the enemy. They are part of the separatist movement, like we all knew in episode 2. And remember, this series came out before episode 3. And first off, the animation. When I saw stills of this animation when it came out, this is one of the biggest things I've been wrong about. I said, wow, that's going to look like garbage. In fact, I didn't even want to see it. I never even wanted to see this this cartoon series. But my buddy convinced me to watch it. And I watched the very first one, which basically just is an intro of the Clone Wars in general. It shows clips from future episodes. Palpatine really trusts Anakin. He wants Anakin to lead in a battle with Obi-Wan as a commander. Obi-Wan and Yoda vehemently disagree, saying he is not ready yet. He is not mature enough, which I love. I love that they did that because, again, it shows that Palpatine trusts him while the rest of the Jedi Order don't. And Anakin knows that. He sees it in his eyes. He's still a Padawan at this point, so he's really mad. He's really upset by that. But that's what makes sense. It makes a lot of sense seeing that. So anyway, that's basically the first one. He flies away saying goodbye to Padme. So far, I'm loving it. I love the animation. I think it's wonderful. This is a cartoon series I thought I'd hate, and I actually ended up loving it. This is like my third time, I think, to watch it, third or fourth time to watch it, and it's still good, still solid. Anyway, Anakin Obi-Wan invade the planet and the banking planet. Clones are using hand signals to communicate attacks because it's too loud. The battle's too loud. There's explosions, laser fire. No one can hear each other. So he's doing hand signals the whole time, and they look totally awesome. They look totally awesome, and you don't need dialogue. In 3.5 minutes, Tartakovsky does what Filoni couldn't get done in 22 minutes. Give us an engaging story that doesn't overstay its welcome. None of these cartoons overstay their welcome. Even the second volume, which has like 12 to 13-minute cartoons, don't overstay their welcome. This one's fantastic. It's perfect, in fact. Absolutely lovely. They also show Kit Fisto battling the Mon Calamari. There is no talking in that one either, if I recall. It's just underwater battles as he's fighting with the Mon Calamari. The Quarren, of course, chose the separatist movement. There's a big underwater space cannon that's shooting up at the ships have kind of landed on the water planet. They're kind of floating. And so they look like real battleships on the water. Wonderful stuff. And Kit Fisto gets a chance to shine, right? We're going to see more of him in episode 3, but we didn't know that at the time. But right now you get to see him in action, and it's awesome. I talked about good, and there are good action in Dave Filoni's Clone Wars, but my goodness, Tartakovsky brings the action. And it's really good. And again, there is not one moment where I was bored. I was not looking at the timer. Remember, this is like an hour and 9 minutes to watch the entire volume 1. It flew by. I remember I had to hit pause to make lunch for my little girls today. Today, I just watched these. And I hit pause. It was like at 49 minutes. I was like, whoa, I'm already 49 minutes in. That's what I said to myself. I could not believe I was almost 50 minutes into this. I was almost done with the series. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm almost done with this. It was that good. There's Dirge. Dirge comes in, tears apart the Republic Army. Dirge is a great villain, a great introduction by Tartakovsky. I love Dirge. I said Cad Bane was the best thing that was invented by Filoni's Clone Wars, but Dirge is the best thing that came out of Tartakovsky's Clone Wars, and it's better than Cad Bane. Of course, you guys knew that. But I love Dirge. He's not a dark Jedi to fight, but he can go toe to toe with the Jedi. Anyway, they just give a brief glimpse of him in one episode. Remember, these are all like micro episodes, and then go to Ventress's introduction, as there's this battle royale in arena, and Count Dooku asks what she can do because she can sneak up on him. That's good, but I don't need a spy. So then she goes there and tears through everyone, and some great battles. She has a blue and green lightsaber at first because she's not gifted with the red lightsabers until later. Dooku knocks her out, like shoots her with electrifies her. Then she wakes up. I think this is a different episode too. She wakes up, and then there's a big fight with Dooku, and then hologram Sidious comes and says, yes, she will serve us perfectly, and sends her on a mission to go kill Skywalker. Palpatine knows she's not going to do that. She's not going to be able to defeat Skywalker, but she's just being used as a tool to push him farther to the dark side. Again, I just love it. I love it. The pace of these cartoons they're perfect. Tartakovsky knows what he's doing, man. The fight then goes back to Dirge, and then Obi-Wan gets to fight him for the first time. Throws a lightsaber through him, and then Dirge lets out this horrifying laugh. It is haunting. It is so good. And then Obi-Wan realizes, wow, this is a foe I'm going to have trouble beating. Slices up his arm, his torso, leaves him for dead, drives away. But then at the very end of this micro episode, Dirge starts coming back together, which of course is going to be great because you're going to see him again. And again, it's all one big movie in a way. But in the next little micro episode, Dirge battles Obi-Wan again. Clones start shooting at him everywhere. They've blown off his armor. He's just all tendrils and muscles and mass and innards and whatnot, which is really cool. It's like shooting out spaghetti strings and killing people. And he swallows Obi-Wan whole, who Obi-Wan uses the Force to just kind of blow out of him and just blows him apart piece by piece. But even at the end of that, you can see like some of the slime coming together at the end as Obi-Wan's looking at the helmet, like at what type of beast Dirge was. Dirge was later continued on the comic books. They did a great job with him. Of course, Obsession with him and Ventress. They really took those characters to another height, in my opinion. Tartakovsky gave us great villains, side villains to play with in this in Star Wars, and the comic books really worked hand in hand with him to enhance those villains even further. Dirge seems even cooler, and he's drawn so awesome in the comic books as well. Anyway, going to the next micro episode here. We get to see how great a pilot Anakin is, because we're told in episode 4, Tartakovsky obviously watched the movies, and we're told that Anakin, when I met your father, he was already a good pilot. And even in that deleted scene in episode 4, where the old man says, I knew your dad, he's a great pilot. Well, let's see some of it. We do in Tartakovsky's Clone Wars. Anakin's flying around his Jedi ship and just, blowing through the bad guy fighters. He has this great move where he says, shoot across the bow. And they're like, but there's nothing there. He went, there will be fire. And they fire other missiles. And then he shoots out from behind the, I'm just going to say Star Destroyer because I can't remember what it's called, Republic Cruiser. And then as all the other spaceships pursuing him, fire him, all the missiles start hitting. One missile passes by the time Anakin makes it there. And then the rest of them come crashing into the rest of them, which is really awesome. It's a really great scene. So much fun. And of course, then he encounters Ventress, who he doesn't know it's Ventress. He keeps calling it a he, and he knows this is not a regular droid. And so they do a little battle there. And I don't know, because this is several episodes up into one. But Anakin basically abandons the team out in space, which was his responsibility, just to chase after Ventress. He doesn't know it's Ventress yet. And Obi-Wan sees him on the planet going, flying around the city going, Anakin, what are you doing? Young Padawan, you should be up there. Remember, Obi-Wan says, we don't trust you, don't have discipline. And Anakin is showing his foolishness. He said, she is pulling you away from the battle. He is pulling you away from the battle. He didn't even know it's Ventress. He said, it's a decoy. It's a distraction. Can't you see that, Anakin? He's like, can't hear you, master. And he goes off into hyperspace and follows Ventress, to which Obi-Wan's kind of disgusted with Anakin and sends some troopers to go after Anakin. Again, this feels more in line to what we saw from episode 2. A brash, angry, quick to make decisions, foolish decisions, easily fooled is young Anakin. His anger and his brashness get a hold of him, and his lack of common sense, which is why Yoda and Obi-Wan don't trust him to lead a battalion. It makes a lot of sense here. Anyway, it then goes from there to Mace Windu. And the only note I have here is Mace Windu is awesome because this is one of my favorite episodes ever. I remember watching this for the first time and going, oh my gosh, I never thought a Jedi could do that much damage. But Mace Windu is, head of the council for a reason, right? And as he's just destroying that whole episode, where he's just doing mass destruction on all the droids, takes out the big ship. And then I like how he flies at the end. He looks like this superhero, right? To this little kid, this farm kid who's watching him. And the farm kid gives him some water, and he drinks it, smiles, and then jumps, and almost like he's flying away like a superhero. And the kid's looking at him in awe because he saved the planet. That may be the best. There's a lot of good episodes. There's a lot of good micro episodes in Tartakovsky's Clone Wars. This is one of the best ones. This is one of the best ones. If I had to pick, no, I'll go ahead and say it. It's the best one. It's hard to say because there's a lot of good ones here, but I will say that's the best one, in my opinion. Micro episodes. 11 shows Barriss and her master, the real Barriss, as she makes her lightsaber on the planet Ilum in the caves of Ilum, and then some infiltrator droids come to the caves there. We find out later on that Dooku has sent them, but they can claim they can go invisible. So Barriss and Unduli, I think is her name, they have to fight off all these droids, but later on they get trapped in the cave. Now, it goes to another, these are all one big episode, but it's micro episodes here. It goes to Yoda, who senses they're in trouble, and he convinces Padme, actually he does a force trick, mind trick, to get, not Panaka, goodness gracious, I forgot his name already. I'll remember it after this is over. I didn't write it down. But anyway, convinces him, even though Padme's already convinced she wants to help the Jedi, to go to Ilum. So they go to Ilum, and then that is where Yoda goes after him. He also discovers the droids in the snow and has to fight them too. And then these are all micro episodes. Padme goes after Yoda, and she has an adventure fighting the droids. They all have a little bit time. Again, it's only 3 minutes. 3 or 4 minutes. Nothing overstays its welcome here. Anthony Daniels comes back as C-3PO. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. It's so much fun. Padme throws her cloak out there and says, 3PO, can you get my cloak? He goes, yeah. And he goes out there, and she uses 3PO as a decoy to find where the cloaking droids are hiding so she can kill them. Yoda comes back. She sees Yoda bringing back the 2 Jedi. He's rescued them. And then they find out by one of the holograms of the captured droids that Dooku was the one that had led them to the planet and wanted it destroyed. And of course, Yoda was confused at first on how they found the secret location, but later on, he understands completely. So much fun. So much fun. Such good stuff. Again, engage the entire time here. It then flashes to Anakin landing on the planet following Ventress. The troopers come right behind him. He went, Obi-Wan sent you, right? Like, they still don't trust me. I like that because we see that in episode 3. That's what we're called continuity, tying things together. Filoni should have been taking notes. This is the craziest thing is this series came out before Filoni's. So dumb. Anyway, but these guys get taken out by Ventress one at a time by use of the Force. They get picked up, thrown away, dragged away into the bushes, screaming, yelling, until basically everyone's gone. They blew up. There's one trooper left, and their carrier ship blows up, taking that trooper with him. And then Anakin's R4 droid blows up because he's next to the starfighter. And so now Anakin is alone with Ventress. And this is where he fights Ventress. It's another great, there's so many great scenes here in these micro episodes. But I love how it starts raining and there's this silence. And it was for 50 seconds or something. I went back and looked at it. It's just a lot of silence for at least 30 seconds as the rain's coming and they're staring at each other. It's perfect. It's perfect. Rain hits the lightsabers and starts sizzling off. No one's thought about that before. Such an awesome idea. And visually, as the heat is coming off of the rain and they're just staring at each other in the downpour, you can cut the tension with the knife. It's so good. So good. Now, of course, Anakin does overpower her and kills her. She just falls off the ledge. So we don't know what. Obviously, she lived. But he screams in rage. He's thinking of all the, Obi-Wan and Yoda and all his friends and whatnot. And again, is moving closer to the dark side, which serves the whole purpose of why Sidious sent Ventress in the first place. I love it. I love these micro series. They're so good. Excellent episode there. We then cut to the finale here in a way. There's a Wolfman Jedi. I remember he was chosen as part of a fan. Fans get to vote on what Jedi they want to see debut in the series. And I voted for the Wolfman too. I can't remember who the other Jedi aliens were, but the Wolfman Jedi, if he had a name, I can't remember it. They don't say it in the series, but I'm sure they've given him a name. And I should have looked it up, but I just finished watching this series just now before recording this. And the battle's over. They have won. Anakin returns back to Obi-Wan and apologizes. Obi-Wan chastises him. Perfect. Building up that distrust, that angst that Anakin will have in the whole Jedi Order that we see in episode 3. It's perfect. But then it ends with a great finale, another great mini micro episode of where Ki-Adi-Mundi, Shaak-Ti, and a bunch of other Jedi are trapped and surrounded by a droid army, and we see Grievous for the first time. It's an awesome fight. My favorite scene is when they hear his footsteps and Ki-Adi-Mundi realizes he's coming in alone. Like, is this guy crazy? There's like 6-7 Jedi here. He thinks he can take us all, and he does. Remember, this is Grievous's first appearance in Star Wars. Episode 3 had not come out yet. This was our first glimpse at what Grievous would look like, and he looked awesome. He was not afraid of the Jedi. He killed several Jedi while he was in there. I remember watching this for the first time and going, mouth was open the whole time. I was shocked about this. It was excellent. Everything you want to know. Grievous looks awesome. And so when we go to episode 3, now we're thinking, oh man, there's Grievous. He took out 6 Jedi easily. Oh man, he's dangerous. We're not thinking, oh, there's the doofus that keeps running every chance he can get when he fought Obi-Wan 5-7 times in the series. It's night and day between Tartakovsky and Filoni here. And it ends on a cliffhanger where Ki-Adi-Mundi looks like he's going to meet his fate because it's he and Grievous to the end. Now, of course, this will pick up in volume 2, which I'll talk about next time. But let me know, folks. I've gone long-winded here. What did you think about volume 1 of Genndy Tartakovsky's Clone Wars? Me personally, loved it. Amazing stuff. Some of the best stuff in the Clone Wars era, hands down. I've always said the Republic comic books did it right, and some of the books got it right. But Genndy Tartakovsky's Clone Wars also nailed it. Nailed it here for volume 1. I can't wait to talk about volume 2 next time on Rewatch.